everybody, and welcome to my favorite books of 2017. I know I say this every year, but I cannot believe the year has gone by this fast. Like, either I've been cryogenically frozen and woken up somewhere into the future, and that's why it's been going by so fast, or it's just been time playing tricks on me again. I just cannot believe it's almost 2018 when it just seems like 2017 started like yesterday. But I can't say that this year hasn't been amazing, because it has been. I got a new puppy. I went back to Scotland for my third time, and I got to go with my best friend Tasha. I moved back to Massachusetts. I got to see so many of my internet friends at conventions this year, and it was so great getting to see them. And I also got to see so many of you guys this year as well, and got to give you guys hugs and tell you all how much I love you. Because I just cannot say enough. I love you guys so much. I finished my first book ever, Zenith the Andromeda Saga, which is out in just a few weeks on January 16th. I'm just so amazed by this. I also started the second book in the duology, and that's been amazing because, oh my gosh, I've almost written 2 books. And not only just that, but I've also started my own solo novel that I've been calling Project Red, even though that's not the finished name. And it's been the project of my heart and soul. I love it so much, and I cannot wait for you guys to read it one day. I also started college again. I was a part of a web series called The Book Chat Show. And lastly, I got to share my love of art with you guys by starting my own bookmark shop, and that was so cool. So guys, this year's been so awesome, and it's all because of you. Your support, your love, and dedication to me and this channel, it's truly just so phenomenal, and I love you guys so much. I cannot say that enough. Thank you. So guys, with that being said, let's get into my favorite books of 2017. Woo! Okay, so I have a total of 6 books in this collection. Numbers 6 through 2 are books that I love equally and are all amazing. But then there's number 1, and that is my favorite book that I read this year. So starting off at number 6, we have Till Death by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This book is not only an amazing book, but also it means a lot to me since Jennifer named the book character after me. What? Fangirling. Jennifer L. Armentrout's one of my favorite authors ever. She is one of the first authors that I read all the books of. And not only that, but this book is also phenomenal. It follows the story of Sasha, who hasn't been to her hometown in 10 years because she was almost killed by a serial killer the last time she was there. So I kind of understand her hesitancies towards going back home. But her mother needs her help at the family inn, so she moves on back, and things aren't very easy sailing from there. Oh no. A string of murders starts up again once she moves back, so it's about her ex-boyfriend, who is now an FBI agent, finding out who the killer is and stop him before he kills any more victims. It is just such an amazing novel, and I haven't really read a romance mystery book before. I read romance books with mysteries in them, but not a mystery as its prominent genre. So that's been so much fun and amazing, and also it's a very sexy book as well, so I always like me some sexy fun times. And talking about sexy fun times, we have in the number 5 slot, The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This book was so much fun and very sexy. It is about a girl named Hannah, and she is a junior in college, and she has the biggest crush on this guy named Justin. But the only way that she can get Justin's attention is if she goes on a date with Garrett, the captain of the hockey team. And Garrett proposes to her that for a date with him, she has to tutor him so he gets an A in his class. So they strike up this deal, and sparks fly, and romance ensues, and the rest is up to you guys to find out. So definitely go check out the book. I highly recommend it. And then following up in the number 4 slot, we have a book that truly moved me as a human being, as a reader, and just blew my mind and broke my soul, and then repaired it somehow. And that is Night by Elie Wiesel. This book follows the true story of Elie as he survived the concentration camp Auschwitz. It is such a heartbreaking and gripping novel that I highly recommend everyone read, because it truly makes you feel human and really just makes you aware of the life you live and how lucky you are to live it. So definitely read this book, pick it up. It's only like 100 pages, so it's a very quick read, but truly leaves you speechless at the end. I loved it. And the number 3 slot, we have Paper Princess by Aaron Watt. And Aaron Watt is a co-authoring team that includes Elle Kennedy, who wrote The Deal. This book was so good. I loved it so much. I read all 3 books in the trilogy within like 5 days. Like, I binge read them so fast, and it was so good. It follows the story of Ella Harper, who hasn't had it very easy in life. Her mom recently passed away, and she's been trying to get by while working at a strip club in order to pay for her education. But one day, she is swept up out of the gutter by her guardian, who is Callum Royal, and he is a multi-billionaire. He is a Richie Rich. And he brings her back to his home to care for her and put her back in school and to live a good life like she deserves. But things aren't quite easy from there, because his 5 sons hate change her for no reason. And the son that hates her the most is Reed Royal, and he wants to send her back to the gutter she came from. So this definitely is a very angsty novel that is very sexy for a upper young adult novel, because these characters are like 17 and 18, so I definitely did not expect the sexy fun times that came in this book, but that does not mean that I did not enjoy them. They were very, very good and well written, and also it made me cry a lot, this book. I never thought that this book would make me cry as much as it did, but it really was such a moving novel as well, because it shows you how you can persevere even through the hardest of times. Even with the a-holiest guys that are trying to bring you down, you can stomp on them and rise to the top. Girl power. And for number 2, we have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This book was actually the book that got me back into school earlier than I intended. I intended to go back to school in the fall of 2017, not the springtime of 2017, but I ended up doing it in the spring anyways. It's because the character in this book resonated with me so much. Diana Bishop, who is the main character in the story, she is not only a historian, but an anthropologist and an archivist. And those are things that interest me so much and really made me want to get back into school, because I wanted to learn more about the things that I plan to study later on that year. So I was like, you know what? Why am I delaying my education when I want to do it right now, thanks to Diana Bishop? So I did it, and I loved it, and I'm super excited that book managed to do that to me. Like, guys, books are so amazing and transformative and just really compel you to do amazing things, and hopefully not bad things, because that is bad. That's very bad. So this book is about Diana Bishop, and she is a professor, and she's currently at Oxford University studying their archives, and she is not just a normal human being like we all thought she would be, because she's actually a witch, but she does not want to use her powers. But that is until she comes across a book that has been hidden for many, many years, and lots of people want it, but she's the one who somehow uncovered it, and so now everybody in the supernatural world is coming after her. And that's where she teams up with Matthew Claremont, who is a vampire, and they go on this whirlwind crazy journey into the archives and history and through the streets of Oxford, and it's just so amazing. I love this book so much. It was so descriptive and beautiful, and the scenery was so real that I felt like I was actually there. So there's magic, there's history, and there's just power in this book, and I loved it so much. And also exciting thing about this book is that it's becoming a movie currently, and I am just so ready for it to be in front of my eyes so I can see how well they do with transforming it into a film, because there's such a great source content in it, and I am just so pumped. Okay guys, we have come to the last book in the number 1 slot, and this is my all-time favorite book of this year. And this book is the second book in a series, and it is just so good. And you may remember the first book in this series because I kind of made it my favorite book of last year as well. So of course I'm gonna follow it up with the second book. But I'm very pleasantly surprised that it made it into my number 1 slot, because second books in series can sometimes fall short. But this one did anything but. I loved it just as much as I loved the first one. And the final book, the number 1 book, my favorite book of this year, is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. This arc is truly loved, that's for sure. I'm gonna give you guys a summary of the first book just because I do not want to spoil the second book. Give you guys an idea of what the series contains and how awesome it is and how beautiful it is and how just epic it is. So the first book is called Stalking Jack the Ripper, which was an amazing book title and what actually drew me to the book in the first place. It's about Audrey Wadsworth, and she is a mortician's apprentice in Victorian era London. So that is not really a career for a lady of high society, but she's like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna like what I like, and I'm gonna learn what I like because I am a woman and I do what I want. And it's about her and her peer, who she loves to hate, Thomas Cresswell, going and hunting down who Jack the Ripper is, because he has some type of relation to Audrey, but they just don't know what. And it is so fascinating. There's so many plot twists and turns and epic scenery and amazingness. It's so hard for me to explain this book to you guys, especially the first book and the second book, because they're just so phenomenal. They're so much fun. They're captivating. They're unique. They're different. I've never read a book like this before. And I love the idea of following a prominent murderous figure that has a quite gruesome past throughout history and the time that is happening, because with Jack the Ripper, you do not know who he is. So it's a lot of fun to play around with who he might be, because nothing was set in stone, because they still don't know who he was to this day. So Carrie is just a phenomenal writer. I loved how this book was laid out, especially this one. This book was so good as a follow-up to such an amazing first novel. Because guys, come on, Dracula, The setting was in Romania. It was just so amazing. And now I want to go and visit Romania because of this book. I want to go to the castles they went to, the towns that they stayed in, and just study the history and folklore that actually went into creating this book because it is just so well done. And it's really cool the way that this book is laid out because every single chapter that you read, it has like a picture that kind of has to do with what the chapter is about. So it just is such a cool book. I loved it and I cannot wait for you guys to let me know how you like the series. And I hope that you guys liked it as much as I did because I just think that they're so phenomenal and fascinating and just cool. So guys, that is the end of my favorite books of 2017. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know what are some of your favorite books of 2017 down below. I always love some good recommendations because now that I'm out of my year-long book slump, like it's seriously been a year, it's been bad, I'm ready to read more and just enjoy the art of literature. And guys, I hope that next year when it's the end of the year of 2018, I really hope to see some of you mentioning Zenith in your favorite books of 2018 because that'll be really cool and amazing, and I hope you guys love this book as I enjoyed writing it for you guys. So definitely go pre-order down below, get it the week it comes out, just do whatever you want with it because I'm just so excited for it to be in your guys' hands. I'm just so guys, thank you so much for watching and Happy New Year! Bye!